Hello everybody, can you hear me? Hello ladies and gentlemen. In this video we are presenting the first ever gameplay showcase for our upcoming AAA Metaverse MMO called Cryptagende Verse. And here let me have a brief description of the project. With Cryptagende Verse we aim to deliver a definitive MMO experience in the Metaverse world with an unprecedented level of fidelity, sound design and physics. We aim to provide a generous variety of well-established online modes. However, our ultimate purpose is to introduce a fully functioning in-game economy delivered through our sandbox playground called the Verse. And I would like to talk about the team in Cryptagende. The team behind our massive project is led by ex-Ubisoft game developers, having worked on premier projects like Far Cry and Rainbow Six. Our team leaders know what it takes to make a proper AAA shooter, down to its mechanical core. With experienced game designers and blockchain engineers, our team has developed a vision to fill the AAA quality gap within the GameFi scene by delivering a next-generation MMO shooting experience. And now let's talk about the description of stages and game modes. Cryptagende Verse is set to release in 3 major stages. In order to gradually introduce new online modes and organically grow our game world, polishing all of the intricate mechanics along the way. The first stage will introduce the industry staples of competitive multiplayer with the team deathmatch a la Call of Duty and 5v5 competition a la Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The given modes will be a great starting point to showcase our cutting-edge technology, tactical gameplay loop, and impressive level design with a tried and true multiplayer format. The second stage will cater to the co-op and PvE desires of our player base with the challenge and survival mode. Both modes will feature teams of 5 friends going against various bosses or waves of AI opponents with increasing level of difficulty. The third and final stage will drastically increase the scope and scale of our universe with the launch of the Verse mode. The Verse mode will be a virtual sandbox with various quests, missions, collectibles, and most importantly, player-generated items. See, with our open source creation tools of Unreal Engine 5, we will give our players full creative freedom to craft any of the in-game assets with their distinct tastes and preferences. The players will be able to sell or purchase these handcrafted items within the Verse world, effectively creating a free market economy. The technology behind Cryptagende. Now we are in the part of game demo display. Enough concept illustration, let's get into some real deal here. So what you seeing here is the stage 1 of the PvP mode in our AAA MMO shooting game. Here is to illustrate some basic character movements that one is capable of doing. With help of UE5, our developers team were able to leverage a variety of tools at their fingertips instead of remapping the wheel from in the beginning. So within a short time span of just a couple of months since September last year, our designers and engineers were able to complete up to 70% of the entire game development. An extraordinary short turnaround time for us to get to the market. And so you ask, what makes Unreal Engine 5 so powerful? The key point is that Unreal 5 is an upgraded version of Unreal 4. On the basis of the original function of Unreal 4, Unreal 5 further implement dynamic global lighting, truly virtualized geometry, open world sense, animations, tool sets. meta sounds, audio production, and many other functions. If you are interested, actually, we can forward the links to its additional touches prior to the call. As you can see, the visual side of our game is gorgeous, and with a native 4K resolution and the highest polygon count available on the market. The nanites populate each asset of the game with exponentially higher pixel count, resulting in a never-before-seen level of detail. The Unreal 5 also features an expansive library of pre-made Quixel Megascans assets that will enrich and diversify the world of Cryptagende. We use the cinematic version, which would typically be used in films. They're around a million triangles each, and thanks to a virtual texturing, they are use 8K textures as well. In layman's terms, what this means for our players is the utmost visual satisfaction, a fully immersive environment that almost feels too real. As a cherry on the top, Unreal 5 has a built-in lighting system called the Lumen. It is possible to react in real time to changes in the sun and lighting, such as changing the angle of the sun over time, turning the flashlight, or casting a shadow in the way at different angles. This results in a much more cinematic, real-life presentation of the environment in-game assets. And here I would talk about the gameplay details. Now, to briefly discuss our core gameplay loop, we are designing a shooting experience that will accommodate a wide variety of playing styles and tactics. And we believe that diversity of sustainable fun is online shooting games come from the ability to experiment with different approaches. So we have designed our game mechanics for a generous selection of gameplay styles. And you can go with an aggressive approach using powerful and loud weaponry with explosiveness and hard-hitting special abilities. Or you can silent and deadly with precise weapons and stealth tools to play around with you. You can also experiment with a Koger approach, building a fast-moving assassin-type character that mixes the aggressive and stealth approaches. The intricate and tight structure level design will also provide room for creativity and experienced players to formulate ambushes, diversions, and other movement-based tactics. The speed and motion in our gameplay are designed to be fast, snappy, and responsive, running on 60 FPS across all platforms. We want to make sure that our core game loop does not become repetitive or derivative shortly after release. With the extensive variety of weapons, equipment, and special abilities and explosives, we plan to satisfy a wide array of playing styles, which leads to highlight with the video. Now let me introduce the in-game assets. So now let's talk about the real deal. It is time to see in action what we have installed for you all so far. In the next coming week, we would be releasing up to 24 gun models, blueprints. The finished pieces of Eye of Skuld, Chill, and Paradox will be released in the upcoming week. In fact, Eye of Skuld is already available on ArtStation. And we know having exquisite weapons is a key component to having a super exciting shooting game. So when it comes to weapon designs, we are going all out. It's our utmost priority to get the details and styles that's need for your game character to achieve force while looking like it. The design process of the weapon started off with creating different form factors, from assault rifles to submachine guns and different non-detailed imagery that forms and places the ergonomics. To add necessary detailing and for initial modeling, we move on creating a more specific block-out mesh. The super polished realistic look you see was achieved with ZBrush. To add the necessary pieces that bring the guns to life, the model was recycled in Maya to create a low poly with the required mesh density to produce the sharpness required for your gameplay view. As the guns, we will be under different shades and environments. We used Nightshade UV editors from Maya to control textile density. Then we baked the gun model designs and added the necessary materials for a realistic feel and unique view of the gun designs. And finally, we rendered the 24 gun models with all the textures that have been added with the necessary lighting and exposure for what you see in your screens. Over the upcoming weeks, we expect to see us featuring each gun with its own story behind its creativity inspiration. And how we come about its name, it's an entire creation journal. So for example, for our first 3 released gun weapons, Eye of the Skull, it is a dangerous, rugged and functional. Looking heavy, it aims to deliver a heavy impact on your enemies and opponents with enormous force. The near middle stock represents the near close balance between good and evil, with good prevailing a few good times. For any shooter who holds Eye of the Skull, the challenge of holding and balancing the evils within its world is heavy, known and important. Because we intended to develop a gun that was ergonomically convenient via balance and less focus on aesthetics and more on getting the job done. The Eye of Skull comes in a near rectangular form and a wide stock with extended and elongated buttstock. The Eye of Skull is less than stealth but is powerful with every gun clip, and the edgy form factor is on point for additional force impact on the enemy outside of shooting. Our design team focused on building a functional gun that's fit in use and out of use for defense and execution, and for fear and depth recovery. So don't know about you, but I think I'm going to make this my go-to set. Okay, now it's Chill. Chill is one of my other favorite piece. It is really unique in my eyes. Chill is going to bring unpleasant and rapid feelings of unisonance and with a long barrel and aesthetically pleasing for form factor. Chill is functional and is chilling to see and operate. The enemies understand that you are here for business, and with every part coming with an advantage, your enemy is just another number in series of the dead. Because in war everything is needed, right? So the gun's butt comes curved for more fight advantage to hook or pass out the enemy, and the angular muzzle, seam, bore, and functional scope were designed with the intention to create a sniper form effect while remaining within the medium scale. With a balance of great aesthetics and functional build, Chill delivers an excellent firing experience and firepower, with the surface color giving it just enough reflective effect when killing enemies. The name was a result of drawing inspiration from the coldness sensation that is often left after every kill. Chill is designed with providing just enough hysteria and apprehensiveness before death and enforcing panic, terror and horror at hands of its shooter. And I am going to pause here for our weapon's backstory, just so you know the story gets even better for other weapons, so you can find out more through our art station. So for everything I just mentioned, they will be available to be listed as NFTs on OpenSeas. and all other tradable NFT platforms. Be reassured that every weapon you are going getting from us in a work of art and absolute piece of weapon. We have invested so much money into the design and to make sure that each and every single one of them are non-replicas of each other, all having its unique identifier, trademarks and distinctive perks that shines. In other words, each NFT will actually truly have intrinsic value and delivers its promise of rarity. This is not going to be NFTs that simply changes a tiny portion and crowns its name with the rarity name. And on top of that, we know nothing kills the fun more than a boring map. What I want to highlight here is that earlier in the game demo we used as an illustration, none of it will be an actual scene in our game, and we would completely avoid the disclosure of any actual in-game scenes prior to our launch. We have decided to do this for a good reason. We are keeping all our game maps a mystery, maintaining its ambiguity and preparing for a mind-blown once you see it all at once during the launch. You will notice this form as any GameFi project, and you have seen we are heavily invested in the technical side, ensuring that every piece of work, be it in game assets or in game maps, will be the work of a masterpiece. We are really taking the team it deserves to fine-tune every piece, running it by multiple experts to ensure that we left no stones unturned. Every aspect is taken care of, every detail is perfect. Okay, so now the roadmap. Naturally, you'll be curious about our release dates and when you will get the chance to play our online modes, so let's discuss our roadmap for upcoming period. Quarter 3 will be the releases of our beta version for us to collect feedback from players and fix any game loop issues. Our first stage with Team Deathmatch, 5v5 competition and Battle Royale will be officially launched in Quarter 4 2022. The second stage with Challenge and Survival modes will be launched in Quarter 1 2023. As for our final stage, the Verse mode and its full open source functionality will enter into development phase in the first quarter of the next year. So we have basically split our game release in a way that every new quarter our player base will receive a major update in regards to game modes to play with. And now I think before I wrap up today's session, we have collected some really interesting questions from our community which I thought would be useful to share. In case any of you are wondering about the same thing, we have picked up 10 most highly voted questions in the interest of time. So here we go. Question number 1. Since your game is built on next generation graphics engine, will it run on mid-level hardware? Well, I can say the short answer is yes. The polygon system of the nanite technology is specifically designed to not tax the device running the game. This is another reason that we have decided to go along with. What nanite is capable of is that it can actually harness the power of your device with a new, much more efficient and optimal approach, resulting in generously low spec requirements across the board. Meaning that they can learn your device and adjust accordingly to bring you a smooth gameplay. Next weekend. Alright, second question. Can you tell me us more about the character creation system? So yes, the character creation will essentially encapsulate choosing the visual appearance with a detailed customization screen, base abilities, and skills that we will determine the character's dominating features. This created character will be your virtual avatar through each online mode, supporting the cross-mode transition as you upgrade and skills. Of course, some skills and weapons will be exclusive to a given mode, which I'm going to keep it a secret now. Alright, moving here, and we have question number 3. How will the player progression work? In a nutshell, each player of MMO experience will upgrade their weapons, equipment, outfits, and skills through our chest system. Through all of our 3 stages, players will receive various rewards in the form of 4 types of chests. And we are ordinary, rare, limited, and legendary chests. As the names suggest, the content of our in-game chest varies its value and rarity. The items contained in these chests, except for ordinary ones, can be traded on our exclusive NFT marketplace, and the value and the power of the items increases proportionally to the challenge our players are willing to take on. We designed this form of reward to create suspense and instill that surprise factor, such as that our players will be intrigued to keep waiting to open more chests in order to satisfy their curious nature. What is worth nothing is that the probability of obtaining any chest items are established using decentralized protocol to prevent and arbitrage manipulations. So there is no way of arguing that we have any control over the player's lucky index. So like this, yeah. Okay, question number 4. Can you describe the Battle Royale mode? The Battle Royale will feature 80 players rosters deployed on a large-scale island. And our BR will feature of the bells and whistles of the market-leading titles, like Warzone, for example. Vehicles, weapons, special abilities, revival options, and other features will be presented with our cutting-edge fidelity of Unreal. Alright, question number 5. In these modes, you will compete against other players worldwide, hone your skills, and acquire useful virtual assets, like equipment, weapons, and special abilities. I think this alone creates endless possibilities of play when you think of team strategies, defense, and how to work in synergies. As a player, I'm all about interesting gameplay tactics. The next question on our list is question number 5. Will the creation tools of Verse mode require any technical knowledge? The answer is no. None whatsoever. We have specifically designed the item creation tools to be accessible, intuitive, and easy to navigate. We don't want our players to be limited by the complicated process of creation and be held back by difficult to follow menus and tabs. Don't worry, we have released comprehensive tutorials to give you everything you need and all required knowledge to start crafting right away. Next question is our favorite question. So, why does the team decide not to jump right into Verse 3 Metaverse? To give you an idea, a typically well-developed and thought out open source game requires at least $100 million of funding, and it will take too long to raise a capital this size and ensure that stage 3 will have enough user base to support the in-game economy. And we need to be responsible towards the trust of our investors and the support from our player base. It makes more sense to use capital rise and game revenue derived from stage 1 and 2 collectively to grow and develop our stage 3. From the perspective of a gamer's experience, we also need to offer time for our players to get on board with the concept of play to work. We will cover more on this in our Verse video series. And our very fundamental intent is that we are set on delivering a real fun game loop, grow our fan base, and offer our players an option should you decide to become promoters and governance of our Verse economy. Then in terms of team's expert, a massive project will require many trial and error. A Verse that embraces all thoughts, promotes creativity and freedom can only be built by a team that is truly diverse. And we plan to do just that, grow our team in a more diverse way, so that we are more equipped to cultivate more creatives, ideas such as that we can truly deliver a Verse economy to be a home for everyone. Now let's go to the final 4 questions, and the final question is, will there be any restrictions on the in-game asset trading market? No, restrictions or regulations will be presented in terms of supply and demand. We will only ensure that the contract set between the players, the purchases and the sales will be honored and secured. Everything else will be permitted since we present a truly open model of NFT economy. Whoever asked this question, I know you guys are excited for our game and we appreciate it really. Alright, next question. How will we get access to the first version of Cryptagende Verse? So in order to access our earliest version dropping in Q3 2022, you will have to buy an NFT pass on our official marketplace. This is NFT pass will grant you an all-around ticket to every stage of releases. And next question, how will you balance the looting system? At Cryptagende, we believe that balancing is one of the most important aspects of the online experience. We do not wish to either overpower or underpower our players to skew their playing experience towards overly easy to difficult extremes. That's why we have developed a decentralized protocol that will determine the value and power of the chest drops depending on the player's current abilities to keep that balance in check. Alright, next question. Will we be able to trade our created NFTs outside of your platform? Yes, it is. The assets crafted by our users within the game will have the flexibility for a variety of platforms. The cross-chain protocols, the cross-chain functionality of our Layer 2 protocol supports trading on various marketplaces, and that we have planned to deploy, for example, a network like Solana, Near or Polygon networks. On that note, we have wrapped up today's session again. So, thank you for your all tuning in. Do not forget to subscribe to YouTube channel. Do not forget to follow us on Twitter and to get updates on whitelist opportunities. I think that's all for today, and until next time, have a great night, folks. Bye bye.